Luke's Bushcraft has a challenge out. He wants us to try and do a one-handed ferro rod fire. Sorry, hopefully it isn't too noisy between traffic not too far from here and the wind, but anyway, as I said, Luke has a challenge that he would like us to try, and it's not for a giveaway or anything like that. It's just a challenge, and you know, I kind of like those. It's a good way for us to go out and test our skills to see how well we do. Watching Brendan Jones a little bit earlier, you know, a good way to test our gear also to see how well our gear works. You know, we may think we have that secret weapon. It may fail us when it comes down to it. But anyway, I'm going to give it a shot here. The one-handed ferro rod fire. I had thought about using my chamois and tying my arm off in a sling, but I thought different of that. I thought, you know, not everybody's going to be wearing a chamois. What else would they have? And hopefully, at least as older guys, you have a belt. So I'm going to use my belt as my sling, and then I'm going to see what I can do to do the one-handed ferro rod. See how well I do, guys. So I've hurt my arm. I'm going to use my belt as my sling. I'm going to tie it off my arm and then try this challenge. You know, if I really wanted to make it a challenge, I would tie off my good arm, but I'm not going to do it this time. So hopefully you can see this. I'm going to lay my belt against my arm. Bring the belt up. Oh, can't really go through the buckle. There's a reason I'm doing it this way. Okay? And I'm going to come up this way. Okay? I'm on the inner side of my belt now. If I would have went the other way, the outer side of the belt would have been against my neck. It probably would have been a lot rougher, and it probably would have actually caused some chafing more on my neck than this direction. But I also have a use for it. I'm going to step in closer so you can see this. I'm going to reposition the camera here. Have my belt around my neck. Got my belt loop there. I'm going to come up through the belt loop. Find where I need to anchor off my arm, take the pin, run through the belt loop, or the belt hole, and there it pulls against itself, and that gives me some support on that arm. I can push the pin down, it's going through the other hole there, and now I have my arm supported. I have it wrapped up so it gives it a lot more support than just a loose sling around my wrist. Gives me a lot firmer grip there, or whatever, you know what I'm saying. It supports it a lot better. But anyway, let's get on to the challenge. Alright guys, so I've hurt my arm. I have it put in a sling. My next step is I have to gather some tinder. Okay, I stopped and thought about it a little bit, having had a few injuries in my life. What would I feel like at that time? Would I want to go around picking up tinder on the ground? I thought, no, that's probably the last thing I'd want to do. So I stopped and thought I would probably want to keep myself upright. One, if I've had blood loss, you know, if it was a cut type injury, doing a lot of bending and stuff, I would probably, you know, a chance of getting lightheaded or something. But also, you know, I wanted to gather as much dry tinder as I can that's standing, you know, dead standing, instead of grabbing it off the ground, especially if it's a snowy or wet situation. Anyway, I would start and find as much small twigs as I can. And gather as much as I can. And not having a pouch or anything, all I'm doing this with is my knife and my ferro rod. I'm going to try and get as much as I can in one handful. I'm not going to want to go back and forth between my fire area and where I'm getting my tinder. I probably am feeling like crap and don't want to be doing a lot of walking back and forth, and probably want to get that fire going pretty quickly. So gather a bunch of this. We'll get back here in just a moment after I get a little bit of this torn off here. So I've gathered up a bunch of dry twigs. The next thing, and I'm trying to think instinctively of my area, what I would use if I wanted a good quick fire. I would go look for some dry grasses, which are better found up along roadsides and stuff like that. But in the woods itself, you may not be able to find the dry grasses, especially this time of year. So you'd look for other resources. And as I was getting my sticks, I happened to look down and see some bark that would be just perfect for tinder. Let me reposition the camera and I'll show you. Okay, as I don't have birch, stuff like that in my area, I see something like this, I'm going to jump on that. That's going to be perfect. As I said, my first instinct would be to go get dry grasses, but if I don't want to travel far from where I'm getting my fire, I'm probably going to look for anything I can find close and handy. So I see this, I'm trying to pull off as much of this bark as I can. Some of that's a little bit dry, more solid than I want. I want the stuff that I can process down and break into really fibrous pieces. So I'm going to get as much of that off this branch as I can. Again, I'm trying to imagine if I was hurt. I couldn't see wanting to bend over head first, you know, trying to do this. So I'm trying to gather just what I can in an almost standing position, bending over very little. Okay, got a little bit there. Let's see what we can do now. Okay, I've got some of my dry tinder. I've got some bark that I can use as kind of a bird's nest. Stick that again up in here. Okay, next thing we're going to need is fuel. Okay. Sadly, like I said, you don't want to, I didn't want to bend over and pick stuff up, but you may have to do that at this point. But the first thing I'm going to do again is try to find dead standing and break off some of the bigger pieces that I can use. And this is not as easy as it looks, trying to break it one-handed and keep the pieces. These may have to be broke down into smaller pieces once I get over to the fire area. And it's getting late and I want to get my fire going, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Last thing I want to do is be out here injured and trying to get a fire going one-handed. Right over here to my fire light. Alright, got my fire light here. And truthfully, I'm trying to think of this right along with you. You know, like I've just got heard, I haven't given this any thought how I'm going to do this. You know, and this isn't really reinventing the wheel. This is pretty much the same a lot of other people have done. Okay. This is not as easy as it looks, believe me. soft dirt here, and that's really causing me some trouble. I may have to reconsider my fire area. Oh, I had it and I put it out myself. I would much rather have these on top. Gather my belongings. Especially before it gets late, and then I lose them. And this is definitely one of those situations where it's going to be difficult to prepare enough tinder and carry it. But as it can be seen, you need to have as many resources as you can. Because, as I said, being injured, I now have a fire, but I also have to try and get some more resources to keep it going. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully, encourage you a little bit to get out there and try this yourself. It is a challenge, and I look forward to seeing what else you guys can do with this. It's a pretty interesting topic. Luke, thank you. And hey guys, I'll put a link to Luke's channel down below, and also to his video of the challenge. Look forward to seeing what you guys can do. Have a good evening.